Hey everyone, how y'all doing out there? For me it's morning, and I usually go out into nature, but sometimes I like to get me some exercise. And in this video, that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about exercise, but specifically I'm going to talk about a really special type of exercise. For me, and based on science, based on studies, and based on a lot of people's experience with it. And my experience has been nothing short but amazing with this type of exercise. And the exercise that I'm going to talk about, which I just got finished doing, if you can tell I'm breathing a little hard, I'm taking a little rest walk. The exercise that I'm going to talk about is high intensity interval training. And I like to keep everything natural, and I like to follow nature's natural design, and this exercise is no different. I think it works so well because it also follows nature's natural design, and I'll talk about that part a little bit later. I'll talk about the theory behind that. Alright, so what is high intensity interval training? Well, high intensity interval training is basically where you do an exercise that really pushes you to the limit, that gets your entire body involved. You do it for approximately 30 seconds at about 85% or higher performance level, like where you're doing as hard as you can, as fast as you can, about above 85%. And you basically do it for about 30 minutes straight, and then you take a break. You can sit down on the ground, you can sit down in a chair, but you stop doing what you're doing and you let your body rest and recuperate almost fully, which lasts from 1 to 5 minutes, depending on your physical ability, your condition, and things like this. And you repeat this process for 3 to 10 times, depending on your fitness ability level. And the entire workout should take about 20 minutes, that's another plus. That's another benefit of this type of exercise, because it's so efficient. It's not time consuming, and it's super effective. It's more so effective. I think it's far more effective than a lot of exercises that take a lot of your time. And also, to get benefits from it, you don't have to do it too regularly either. You can do it three days a week is fine. But actually, well, about 4 days out of the week is fine. But the higher your fitness level becomes, you may want to tone those numbers down, maybe twice a week. I get good benefit out of 1 to 2 times per week, which is about every 3 days. But the lower your fitness level, maybe you need to do more. The higher your fitness level goes, then you'll have to do less, because you can put more into it, and your intensity will be higher, and you'll need more recovery time. So you'll have to gauge that based on your abilities and your fitness level. So what does high intensity interval training do for us? Besides, what else does it do for us? Well, we know it's fitness. It's an exercise, and it can help us get fit. But there's so many other levels of fitness that we can benefit from, and it can add to our fitness levels and our skill levels if we're athletes. For one thing, I'll talk about 2 things that it does. One thing I'm going to talk about is what it does for us physically, as far as anti-aging and increasing our fitness. Also talk about what it can do for us mentally, as far as mental health and us getting smarter and having better mental functioning. All right. The first thing I'll discuss about what it does for us in relation to it adding to our fitness and physical abilities is that it increases growth hormone. And if we weight train, usually that increases our growth hormone by about 2 to 700%. I got these numbers from a study, and but that's with weightlifting, 2 to 700%. But with high intensity interval training, it's said to increase our growth hormone by up to 2,000%. So that's a big increase, and I believe it because based on my own experiences, after I do this, I can feel my heart feels like it's numb. Actually, my jaw, my mouth gets numb after I do it. I really feel a strong like hormonal feeling. Like I've taken like supplements in the past where it increases, it toys with your hormones, and that's how I feel after I do this type of exercise. I really feel a big hormone rush. So I can't tell you like if it's 2,000%, but I can definitely assure you it's like nothing else I've ever done before. And as far as mental health, it increases a brain hormone that called BDNF. BDNF is responsible for building new neurons and new brain cells, and it's an important brain chemical, a neurotransmitter. I'm not really exactly sure what it is, but it's BDNF. I'll drop a link below. It helps with your mental functioning, depression, your memory, just basically overall brain functioning, because it actually builds new brain neurons. So this is another thing that high intensity interval training affects. So not only is this a potent exercise for anti-aging and health, it's also a potent neurostimulating exercise. It really helps with your mental health, your mental functioning, and I can tell you from my own experiences, on the days that I do high intensity interval training, I feel extremely relaxed. I feel it feels drug-like. Like I can definitely tell a difference on the days that I do it. And of course, this exercise is a very super potent mitochondrial exercise, and it's really beneficial for our mitochondria. All right, and let's see what else. Oh yeah, my experience with this, with physical fitness. As I mentioned before, if you're like any type of an athlete, whether it be professional, recreational, and you're serious about being an athlete, I highly, this is a must-have physical exercise. This should be in anyone's regimen, and again, 2 to 3 times per week is plenty, and each session lasts about 20 minutes. It's extremely efficient and convenient. It's not time consuming, but it's also not easy. This is intense. If you do these things to the maximum, you'll feel like your heart's gonna pop. You're gonna want to lay on the ground and just lay there and rest. Like even right now, my heart still feels numb. I just finished maybe 20 minutes ago, and I'm still feeling the effects, and it feels really rewarding. It feels really rewarding. I feel like I've really accomplished something. And oh yeah, what was I going to talk about? Yeah, with oh yeah, here's my experience with it. When I was training for a marathon, yes, I've run maybe about 12 half marathons in my life, and I've run 1 full marathon. And when I was training for the half marathons, I had did about 8 in a row, and my my time was stuck in the same place. It only fluctuated maybe about 3 or 4 minutes for my half marathon. I couldn't really move the time, in the exercise program that I followed to try to increase my time, I basically just ran. One day I run 5 miles, and then the next day I run 8. One day I run 5, the next day I run maybe 9. One day I run 5, next day I run maybe 8. So basically all my exercises were long distance. What I wasn't doing, I wasn't really fluctuating the intensity of my running. Well, sometimes I'll run them a little bit slower, a little bit faster, but I didn't really fluctuate the intensity of the exercises. And I learned about high intensity interval training, and I applied it to my marathon training. And what I did was I actually did a lot less running. I dropped my miles down, and I included the high intensity interval training into my workout. So I was actually doing like half the training for my marathon training work. And the results that I got from this, when I did my next half marathon, I was able to drop like about 20 minutes off my time. And keep in mind, my time was only fluctuating before maybe 2 or 3 minutes. But after implementing this, my time, I cut off 15 minutes from my time. And I was really blown away by this, because I had done, the time was only fluctuating like 2 or 3 minutes, and this had been happening. This had been going on for like 8 half marathons. I did like 8, and the time never changed. But I did it this one time. There's a 15-minute drop in my time, and I was really impressed by that. And then the very next race I did was a full marathon, which was my first full marathon. And I deeply started implementing the high intensity interval training into my training by this point. And I was really blown away by the results that I got, because my expectation for the full marathon, I wanted to do it in 4 hours. My goal was 4 hours. This is my first time doing a marathon. But when I did it, I really blew that time away. Actually, I did it 3 hours 40 minutes. So I blew my expected time away by 20 minutes. So the point is, by me implementing high intensity interval training to my workouts, I was able to just crush my expectations. I was breaking my own records. I was blowing away my own barriers, and it was really incredible. Okay, now I'll end the video by explaining talking about the theory behind why high intensity interval training is so effective. And you know my theme. My theme is connecting back to nature, connecting back to what's real. Of course, doing sprints up and down the street isn't ideally nature or natural, but actually doing a sprint in nature is very natural, because our ancestors, when they had to deal with predators and the enemy or something like this, they're probably sitting relaxing, resting, or they're probably walking through the woods or walking around somewhere, and then of course they be out of nowhere ambushed, and they have to just do an all-out sprint. It's do or die, life or death. And maybe this lasts for maybe 1 minute, and then they stop, and then maybe they have to do it again. So maybe this is hardwired into us, where we have to really escape from some enemy, and this never went on for like a marathon worth of time, or like 30-minute time stretch. It went on. It was do or die, and it was immediate, and we get away, and then we relax. Basically getting away from the enemy, or or exerting these extreme amounts of effort, it only goes on for what, maximum maybe a couple of minutes. So this is probably, as I just mentioned, hardwired into us. And when we're put under these circumstances now, in this present time, our body, our mind, our DNA remembers this, and it brings out the best in us, because it's probably set in our mind, in our DNA, that it's about survival. And in order for us to survive and deal with these situations, we have to be the best that we are, and unlock these keys and turn on these genetic switches, so that we can survive and pass on our DNA to the next generation. Complicated, right? But yeah, this exercise is pretty incredible. And if I had to choose one exercise out of all the exercises in the world, all the exercise routines, anything, I would choose high intensity interval training, because you get the most bang for your buck, or you get the most efficiency out of your time. And me myself, I've experienced I've had an incredible experience with using this, and I think it's just simply incredible. Like, all the benefits are just hands down better than the rest in my situation, or in my experience. So oh yeah, and it's real easy to find a place to do these. As you can see, this is a walking path. I'm at a walking path, and there's people walking and stuff, and you may have to dodge them, but just basically find you a track, a nice lonely track, or like a road where there's no traffic, and it's real easy to do. There's no excuses. You don't need a gym. It's actually best to do these outside, and of course, cold weather is king. Cold weather is actually part of the exercise, so don't neglect that. Don't do your stuff inside of a building, because it just really disconnects you from nature, and you're losing some of the benefits that nature gives you. Like right now, I got cold weather, and right now I'm exercising as we speak, just being in the cold weather, connecting to nature. I got beautiful sunshine. I'm fully connected, and I don't really feel like I'm exercising. I feel like I just gave myself a gift, and just by connecting with the outdoors. And right now, I'm about to leave you guys. I'm about to go in the woods where I can be to myself and connect with God, connect with the universe, connect with the world, whoever you want to call it. And thank you so much for checking out my video. I hope this was good information for you, and I hope it brings you back to connect. It brings you back to nature, and helps you connect back to the real you, connect back to what's real. Thank you so much. I'm gone.